Well, Ambassador Freeman, thanks for joining us. You are chairman of the boards of Projects International and senior fellow at Brown University. Following on from the session which you were involved in earlier, I was just interested, you talked about an increasingly multipolar world. You talked about the move of the US to a brief unilateral role in the world. And I wondered, do you think it's going to be a good thing for the US in the future to have to work with world powers such as emerging powers such as China, obviously, but also increasingly Russia and other BRICS nations? Do you think that's actually a good thing for US foreign policy?
I don't think we have any choice, and I think it will be a painful process of adjustment, but in the end we'll be far better off with fewer responsibilities, a bit of a rebalance in our relations with our allies, and the ability to cooperate with other great powers rather than maintain relationships of antagonism with them.
And on a separate issue, I'm seeing recently in Washington moves towards a developing or evolving relationship with Israel, and there is a General Amos Yadlin was looking for a closer several fronts, security, usual traditional military hardware, but also a developing relationship in terms of a diplomatic dual approach to the region, which is extremely complex in certain countries, such as currently in Syria, but also in Iraq and other areas. How you see this evolving US-Israel relationship? How are you optimistic for the future or for change? Do you think it's dependent on the current Prime Minister, Mr. Netanyahu, not being there in the future, or do you think it's more optimistic?
The US-Israeli relationship is essentially unhealthy. It consists of the United States writing blank checks that enable Israel to do very dangerous things that are very risky to its own future and prospects. And that problem of enablement, much like the enablement of an alcoholic by giving him or her money, is not going to stop. So the basic problem will continue. The basic issue at the present is that, as is the case with many other countries in the Middle East, American interests and Israeli interests now largely diverge. It's very hard to find an American policy that Israel now supports. In some cases, it is trying very hard to counter and undermine those policies. So that is not a good relationship on which to build a future. And I'm not terribly optimistic, and I'm very sorry that it came to this. But I think it has come to a dangerous moment.
And on a wider question, in terms of the conference itself, you've heard several of these sessions over the last day and 2 days. What is your takeaway from this? What is stuck in your mind?
Well, I enjoyed, it was like being at a family dinner and having a chance to listen to very experienced elder people talk about their concerns quite candidly sometimes, quite artfully sometimes, and I learned a lot.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Freeman.
Thank you.